Today's topic is Faraday's experiments related to EMI. This one is any solenoid. It is connected to a galvanometer. At this time, reading of galvanometer is 0. It's G. A magnet is placed here. This one is north pole, this one is south pole. The magnetic lines of force of magnet will be in such a way. They start from north pole. These are the magnetic lines of force. At this time, there will be no deflection in galvanometer. 0 deflection in galvanometer. If we give the motion to this magnet, it may be towards the solenoid or away the solenoid. And the first part, the second part is this one. This one is solenoid connected to a galvanometer. Here is magnet, pole is north, this pole is south. It is moving in this direction, motion. Magnetic lines of force will be in such a way. The other magnetic lines of force. The galvanometer gives the deflection. Deflection is towards right. Now, if we change the direction of motion of the magnet, this one is coil, solenoid, here is galvanometer, and magnet is this one is north pole, here is south pole, the direction of motion. Lines of force will be in this way. At this time, north pole is moving away from the solenoid, the deflection will be just opposite. Deflection is towards left. In the fourth part, if we change either the direction of motion or we change the pole, the deflection will just reverse. This one is solenoid, galvanometer, here is magnet, here is south pole, here is north pole, but direction of motion is same motion. These are the lines of force of the magnet. Again, the deflection will be towards left, These are the experiments given by our students. First experiment. Now, what is the second experiment? Experiment second. We have two solenoids. This one is first solenoid. It is connected to a cell or battery. And the second solenoid. Only galvanometer is connected to this solenoid. This is G. Is cell or battery. Here is key. When no current flows through solenoid M, then there is no deflection in galvanometer. This is solenoid N. When there is no current through the solenoid, then there is no deflection in the solenoid. That's N. Now the magnetic lines of force will be when we switch on the circuit, current starts in this way, and magnetic field produced around this magnet will be in this way. Is the magnetic field. Then the deflection in the galvanometer is towards right. When no current flows through the through this solenoid M, then there is no deflection in galvanometer. When we switch on the circuit, at the same time when we switch on, then the galvanometer gives the deflection. But when continuous current flow through solenoid M, then deflection in galvanometer becomes 0. Now the third point, if we switch off the circuit, switch off the key, then deflection in galvanometer will be just opposite, will be towards left. Means deflection is only when we switch on or switch off the circuit. When continuous current flows or no current flows through, then there is no deflection in galvanometer. Deflection is only in galvanometer will be only at the time of switch on or switch off. There is no deflection in galvanometer when continuous current flows or the current through M is 0. There is no deflection when there is no current through continuous current flows through M. Through M. These are the observations of the Faraday's. Now, what are the conclusion of these experiments? Conclusion of experiments. The definition of EMI. When there is a relative motion between the magnet and the coil, or there is a change in magnetic flux passing through the solenoid or coil, then an EMF is produced in the coil. This phenomenon is known as electromagnetic induction. When there is a relative motion between the magnet and coil or solenoid, or when there is a change in magnetic flux passing through the coil or solenoid, then EMF is produced in the coil or solenoid. This phenomenon is known as electromagnetic induction. That's EMI. Now, Faraday's laws of EMI. Laws of EMI. There are two laws given by Faraday's. First law. First law is the definition of EMI. Same. When there is a change in magnetic flux related to a coil or a conductor, then EMF is induced in the coil. When there is a change in magnetic flux related to a coil or a conductor, then EMF, electromotive force, is produced in the coil or conductor. This EMF is known as induced EMF. Known as induced EMF. When the coil is closed, then current will flow through the coil. When coil is closed or the circuit is closed, then current will flow through the circuit. This current is known as induced current. Now the second law. First law gives the definition of induced EMF, and the second law, first law shows simply when there is a change in the magnetic flux, then EMF is induced. What second law shows how much EMF is induced during electromagnetic induction. When there is a change in magnetic flux, related to coil or a solenoid or a conductor or solenoid, the rate of change of magnetic flux is equal to the EMF produced, the induced EMF produced. If d5 flux changes in time dt, then induced EMF is given by E is delta phi upon or d phi upon dt. This is Faraday's second law. We want to find the relation between this, the unit of E and the unit of phi. From this relation, unit of E is volt, so volt is equals to Weber upon second. Weber is equals to volt into second. Now the laws for the direction of EMF or induced EMF or induced current. Induced EMF and induced current. There are two laws for the direction of induced EMF or induced current. First one is related to a conductor and second is related to coil or solenoid. There are two laws. First one is Fleming's right hand rule. It is related to a moving conductor. It is related to a moving conductor in magnetic field. And second is Lenz law. It is related for the direction of induced EMF. It is related to a coil or a solenoid. We will discuss separately these laws. Number one is Fleming's right hand rule. When there is a change in magnetic flux related to a conductor, then EMF is induced. When there is a change in magnetic flux, then EMF is induced in the conductor. Its direction is given by Fleming's right hand rule. Its direction is given by the Fleming's right hand rule. Now the statement. If we stretch the index finger, middle finger and thumb of our right hand, that they are mutually perpendicular. If the index finger shows the direction of magnetic field, thumb shows the direction of motion of the conductor in the magnetic field, then middle finger will show the direction of induced current. If we stretch the index finger, middle finger and thumb of our right hand in such a way that they are mutually perpendicular. Index finger shows the direction of magnetic field B. Thumb shows the direction of the motion of the conductor in the magnetic field. Then middle finger will show the direction of induced current Suppose this one is magnetic field. Uniform magnetic field. So the direction is in downward direction, perpendicular to the plane downward. It is B, perpendicular to the plane inward. A conductor is placed here in this way. This one is conductor. It is moving in this direction with velocity v towards the right. Then by right hand thumb rule, Fleming's right hand rule, the direction of current will be in this way, with the direction of current I, induced current. This point is A, this point is B. Now we can easily say which point becomes positive and which point becomes negative. In my idea, this point will be negative and this point becomes positive. Is it correct? Actually, current starts from positive point to negative point, but this is correct only for outer circuit. For this example, this is the cell, current here, if we connect this one resistance, current always flow from positive to negative, but in outer circuit. But inside the cell, this one is cell, positive, negative, current flows from negative to positive. So here is no source of electricity, current is produced due to the motion of this conductor. So here current flows from B to A, then B must be negative and A must be positive. Now the second law, that's Lenz law.